For anyone out there holding their breath, waiting for US President Joe Biden to return the US to the Iran nuclear deal, just take a look at this story. This is from RT. Iran, not after nuclear weapons, says Tehran after US suggests it almost has enough fissile material for atomic bomb. Come down here and it says Tehran has hit out at Washington, dismissing their false claims after the new White House National Security Advisor has suggested that Iran was getting close to having enough enriched uranium to develop a nuclear weapon. Now, of course, this is Jake Sullivan, and he was making these comments during a program sponsored by the U.S. Institute of Peace. Now, you would think the U.S. Institute of Peace would be mostly concerned about the multiple wars of aggression the U.S. is currently waging, and not be so concerned about hypothetical scenarios where Iran may or may not have enough material to make a nuclear weapon. Or the fact that this has been repeatedly said for years and years, all the way back to the Bush era, where Iran was just months away from having nuclear weapons. We've heard this over and over again, to the point where, for anyone paying attention, this sounds like a broken record. Now, Biden had been saying that he was going to return the U.S. to the nuclear deal, but this is what people in his administration are saying. These are people who are echoing Mike Pompeo from the Trump administration, or Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld from the Bush administration. So really, what has changed here? And like I said, U.S. foreign policy is driven by unelected special interests that transcend presidency. So that is exactly why this sounds exactly like the Trump administration, the Obama administration, the Bush administration. And regarding nuclear weapons, let's just remember that the US is the only country in human history to ever use nuclear weapons against another country, twice. And they also currently have the most nuclear weapons of any country on Earth. In addition to that, the US is illegally occupying nations to the east and west of Iran, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Even if Iran wanted nuclear weapons, would that be unreasonable considering what the US has done to Iran's neighbors, and the fact that the US has made no secret that it seeks to do the exact same thing to Iran itself? So it's just this American exceptionalism that so many people take for granted, and because the Western media, the influence that they still have to make it something that people take for granted, when you listen to it, it sounds crazy. It's just the US is guilty of all of these things and worse, and they're denying Iran the ability to defend themselves by saying they can't have nuclear weapons. But even Iran itself is saying they don't want nuclear weapons, they don't have nuclear weapons, and the US is claiming that they do, just like they claimed Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, or that Syria was using chemical weapons. It's a lie that is repeatedly used, and I guess still effective, because there's still people going along with this agenda. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. My prediction that the US may go back to the Iran nuclear deal, but they will not do it in good faith. They will find a way to sabotage it. One of their allies, Israel, most likely will spoil it, and that will all be by design. The US has no intention of going back to that deal. It was a deal that they deliberately intended to sabotage before it was even proposed and before it was ever signed. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what does happen. So to my Patreon patrons who make these videos possible, thank you so much. Please like and share the video if you thought it was useful. Think about subscribing to my channel. It's free to do, and it helps the channel grow. And to everyone everywhere helping me in every way, I really appreciate that. I could not do this work without your support. And as always, thank you for watching.